Parents, you want your kids to succeed. These are tough times. They're learning remotely at home and you want to set them up for success. So you've done all your homework, you researched and you found what's the best setup from an ergonomic perspective, and you got the chair, the desk, everything is just right. Stop right there. I'm Cara Lindell. I am an engineer and a mom and the founder of the bridging technique. And what we find is that sometimes the way that we're supposed to function is not how we do. And so for kids studying, all that research that you've done and found the optimal way to sit may not really be what works best for them. So in this video today, I'm going to show you how we can assess that and end some of your struggles and battles at home about schoolwork, and then how we can use the bridging technique to change that. So you'll notice I'm sitting on the floor. When I need to concentrate and do my best work, that's where you're going to find me, and I often like to have a leg up. What we find is that kids, when they come in and we do some fine motor assessment, they sit in some unusual ways, or they might even like to stand. And the parents all are like, sit straight, straighten your legs. And we're like, just let them be. So then what we do later is we check to see a couple of different attributes of how they function depending on how they're sitting. And it's really surprising what we find. So I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to show you. So all the postural muscles that help us sit, those are all these long fiber, slow twitch, long endurance muscles, and they ought to just be there and be working. They shouldn't be spending a lot of energy working to help us sit up straight. And so what we find is sometimes we have to use all these accessory muscles that are really energized and tight because they're working their hardest to keep us sitting upright. And that leads to fatigue. It also inhibits our ability to breathe, because when our core can just move freely and easily, our ribs can expand and contract to allow us to breathe more easily. And when our kids are studying, what do we want to happen? We want their brain to get all that oxygen so it can learn. So how do we check? It's actually pretty simple. So we're going to use this little guy. I'm going to sit him on my knee. I'm just going to put hands around ribs, and it's gentle. It's not a hard hold, and you're not being forceful about anything. And you're just going to kind of rock from side to side, and you're going to rock around one way and the other, and a little bit forward and a little bit back. And those ought to just be flowy and easy. And what you might find is that they're not. The kids might fall, or they might just be rigid. And so if you change how they're sitting, you can do the sitting up in a chair, you can do crisscross like I am, you can do any variation that you want. But what you're going to find is that the way that the kids like to sit or stand is usually going to allow their core to function most efficiently and let them breathe most easily. So just right there, you've eliminated one battle off of your plate. Your kids are going to be able to function better. You're not going to have to fuss over watching them sit and squirm or half sit or sit on the floor, sit on their bed, whatever their option is. That's what's going to work for them. Involve them, ask them, do some problem solving together, and come up with the way that's going to allow them to support themselves the best. So if you found this advice helpful, go down to the bottom and give us a thumbs up. And if you're finding that your kids just can't find a comfortable place to sit and they just keep squirming around, scroll down in the show notes. You're going to find a way to get in touch with us, whether it's virtual or in person. We can talk you through some ways to use the bridging technique to actually get their core to be more centered, get all those muscles to share the work more evenly, and allow them to function better for school. There's one other attribute of sitting, how we're sitting and how that affects our ability to focus, and that is how our body supports our vision. And that is in the next video, so click at the end and continue on to watch what that is. If you find these videos helpful, please hit subscribe, and thanks for watching.